Hello, knife community, knife lovers, knife enthusiasts, viewers. Older here. I'm gonna do an initial first impression of the Spyderco Yojimbo 2 in Crewwear, the Knife Center exclusive. Really excited about this. Wanted this knife for a long time. Never purchased it because I didn't. With the way the knife is designed, like literally the shape of the blade and how thin the edge is, I never really liked the idea of this knife in S30 for self-defense, which is what this knife is designed for. I didn't mind the S30, but I don't really buy knives for just for self-defense. I have an EDC component, obviously. So with this particular knife, with how thin that tip is on the edge there with this hollow grind, I really wanted a tougher steel than S30 or even S45. I wanted something that it came in a really tough steel. And Knife Center to the rescue. They produced this with their exclusive with the smooth G10 and the Crewwear. Crewwear, my absolute favorite steel until I buy something in Magna Cut. Then it'll probably be my second favorite. Who knows? But I love Crewwear. Crewwear is excellent. It's not a mess to sharpen. It's tough. It's got great edge retention. It has no I'm not gonna say no weaknesses. It's just, I mean, it's not a stainless steel, so it does have its weaknesses with the corrosion. But of the non-stainless steels, it's the least corrosive. So anyway, if you take care of it, you don't have to worry about that. But so yeah, so this is a Michael Janich design, um, and like I said, I've looked at this thing for a while. When I first saw this knife, I didn't think it was ugly, but I did, was taken back a little bit by the design of it, uh, and you know, whereas with the PM2 when I first saw it, I thought it was ugly, and I actually still think a PM2 is ugly. I just love it for its utilitarian reasons. This knife, I don't feel that way. This knife with the hollow grind, with the way this handle is designed, uh, and the fact that I understand Michael Janich's design. When you look at his video and he talks about designing this knife and why the blade stock is so thick here with this hollow grind and this really small tip, is because it's a self-defense weapon. Tool, I should say. It's a self-defense tool. You're not going to break this tip using this the proper way for self-defense, even with S30. Now, when you start taking this same exact knife and you're going to use it for EDC, and you use the edges here for to get up underneath stuff, to cut things or to do whatever, you run the risk of breaking that tip. You really do. I mean, it's not impossible. So I really wanted the toughest steel that I could find for this thing, and Crewwear fits the bill. I still wouldn't recommend using this tip for anything too crazy, because there's such thick blade stock with such a small tip. But yeah, Janich, he did testing with these knives and different blade configurations, and he and other people who are skilled people at self-defense tactics with knives, they came up and they decided that the Warncliffe blade shape was they did, like I said, extensive testing in the Warncliffe blade shape. The results came out to be the most prolific cutter. It really did. So, and yeah, I think that people that are experts in self defense should be the ones designing a self defense tool. It shouldn't be someone that doesn't do self defense. It should be people who, have an understanding of it and train. Okay. Uh, when he mentioned that they did extensive testing, I immediately thought of Cold Steel. The way Cold Steel tests their blades and their knives and their shapes, and then put out the videos. And a lot of manufacturers kind of laugh at Cold Steel with that. It's like, I feel like they do, but you know, um, yeah, there's nothing wrong with testing. I mean, how do you know something's what it is unless you test it, unless you put it through the test and you train that way. So, there might be a little joke behind that, but there's some there's some validity to it. So when Janich designed this knife, he actually incorporates the Filipino grip in his self-defense, and he wanted a knife that actually supported that. So that's why this knife looks the way it does. The way the handle looks the way it does is so that when you grip it and you're holding on to it, your fingers seat into the palm of your hand. Very important to him. Very important with this enormous blade stock that he has on this thing, because it's a thumb ramp. And the grip that this knife is supposed to be utilized is the Filipino grip, where you're actually bearing down on any cuts or in the material that you're cutting on, or puncturing, using an extension of your hand in this form. So that's why it has that. And also the blades, because he used a hollow grind, which lessens material, he wanted to have an exaggeration of that with the back spine of the blade here, this thick, as to keep weight to the blade, instead of hollowing it out. So or having just a flat grind, which he could have, but you can have a thinner edge with a hollow. So the first Yojimbo, was basically a prototype, and then he came out with the Ronin, the fixed blade version of this, and he kind of left. He met Sal Glasser at Spyderco, and then he kind of left Spyderco, and then once he came back to Spyderco, they wanted him to develop something specifically for the self-defense community, and then he designed this, and he came back with the Yojimbo 2. That's basically the short version of it. So, yeah, this knife, it fits the bill. It literally does exactly what it's designed for. Can you use this for EDC? Yes, of course you can. Most people are never, ever, ever going to be in a knife fight. And most people would never even have an opportunity, or it's not even an opportunity, or be in a situation where they had to use a knife to defend themselves. Most of the time, the best defense, if you can, is to retreat. I carry knives, and the first and foremost thing on my mind is not self-defense. You can use a pen to defend yourself. You can use anything to defend yourself. So, we all carry knives for EDC, and we hope that one day we would never have to defend ourselves with a knife, or any tool for that matter, but this thing was designed with that in mind. Everything, and I mean, even the handle was designed that if you couldn't, get to the knife and deploy it, you had a blunt force trauma section of the knife where you can use it to actually defend yourself in that manner. So all of these things were taken into consideration, and the fact that it uses the compression lock, which is an extremely good, extremely strong lock, it's a home run. It is absolutely a home run. So this was the first impression, and just I'm gonna do another couple of videos on this knife. Once I really have a chance to carry it and use it a little bit, and then of course, some eye candy videos on it, And as good as these scales are, they're smooth, they're fantastic. As good as they are, I'm gonna have to go titanium on this. So eventually. So at any rate, okay. That's it. That's all I got. All right. Take care.